welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 194. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who told a girl his penis was like a computer. She said, is that because it's got loads of RAM and a big hard drive? He said, no, it's full of viruses and Microsoft. Tony Blooming Dan. Hey, the finger pubes are back.
Always
ready.
Present and accounted for.
Or cocked and loaded. Just saying. How are you, sir?
Good.
I'm glad we got off on a high note.
I just wanted this to be like a really awful. I watched because I don't like Jimmy Fallon.
Anyone, yeah.
But I was at a friend's on the weekend, and they showed me that I think it's like Universal Studios in America or something. There's like a Jimmy Fallon, like the Tonight Show or the Late Show, whatever the fuck he does, yeah. like a 3D experience ride or something. He drives around in a fucking go-kart. It's just it's awful. And I was like, I fucking hate this guy. But what I wanted to do is I want to get to a point where, I reach a certain level of fame where I'd be invited on, and then. When it's just like, oh, should we do like a miming game? And should we do a little dance? I'm like, no. No, I'm here to talk about my new film, and that's it. I don't want to have a little dance. I don't want to, give you any reason to just sit there and absolutely cream your pants because I'm so funny, which is what he does for literally everybody. And I was telling my mate this, and they showed me an interview that Joaquin Phoenix did on David Letterman, and he was just not having any of it. He's just sort of like, he's just sort of like, oh, he'll make like a lame joke or whatever, and the audience will just fucking die laughing. Yeah. And the person that is just sort of like, you're really not helping yourself.
Do you think it's because he's on the other side of the applause sign, so we can't see it, where it says laugh?
Maybe that's it. He's got to hold up like a flashcard.
Yeah. Then he's like, oh,
it's just sort of like, I made a joke, ding, ding, ding. But he's just sort of like, no, I don't really want to. Yeah, it's a joke.
As much as they're funny, I'd hate to be in that situation because obviously he's just doing his job and he gets paid an incredible amount of money. I do prefer Jimmy Fallon to Jimmy Kimmel. I fucking hate Jimmy Kimmel. To the point, if you actually go back through some of our older podcasts, we actually did a podcast on how much we don't like Jimmy Kimmel.
I can't tell them apart. I don't know. I could have been talking about Kimmel. I honestly don't know.
Which one? Does he look a little bit like...
He was in the fucking Jurassic World thing.
I think
he's in the Jurassic World. Well, whichever one it is, I fucking hate him.
We'll have a look after. But it's like any Avril Lavigne interview pre 2012 or something like that.
That's a very specific thing to be looking for.
Basically, on her first album, Let Go, fantastic album, and I truly do still like it to this day. Because she's going on all these pop world and CD UK and that kind of thing, and you'd have Simon Amstel, who I do think is genuinely very funny, and he'd be asking her all these really stupid questions, and she's just got a hair down, and she just doesn't say a fucking word. But then the camera will it'll cut to camera 2, and he's just like. He's like, okay. He goes on to his next question. It's just really
That's
awkward.
The thing, though. It's how do you coax someone out of that? If they're in the mood, or they're just I don't want to be here, and I certainly don't want to be talking to you.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is, and this is what I learned from that Letterman thing that I was watching. The worst thing you can do is make jokes about them.
Yeah.
Where it's just sort of like, oh yeah, well clearly you're in a good mood. It's just like, how's that going to help the situation?
Yeah.
When someone, I don't mind it when there's Nevermind the Buzzcocks where it was when they went through a period of doing guest presenters.
Yeah.
And it was there was two people who were guest presenting. Honestly, I don't know who they are. Some sort of band, or artist or something. I really don't know. But then they had someone on. He was an American guy. He'd been on before. I think with possibly Mark Lamar. I don't know, but he seemed to have quite a good sort of rollicking time. Yeah. And then these two guys, they were like, trying to do the usual Buzzcocks thing and just sort of like take the piss or whatever. Either he was pissed or he was on something or he just wasn't in the mood for it, but he just wasn't having any of it. And he ended up like smashing a mug on like the desk because he was just like, just fuck off.
I don't remember
just like,
that.
Yeah, it's
that
just like,
fantastic.
You're not. Because they were just sort of like, are you all right? Like, we didn't want to upset you or anything.
I do remember, it was Jedward.
No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
They'd never be asked to host something like that. You need to have like smarts and be funny.
I'm pretty sure they definitely did one.
They've probably been on it to be mocked at some point. But I don't think they'd have presented it.
I remember Preston walking off.
That whole fucking show has gone down the pan when that happens. Like, you need someone who's just like brutal.
Yeah, like Mark Lamar and Simon Amstel.
I'd say Frankie Boyle did a better job of being a bell end to people than.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being a bell end and two of my favourite episodes is when Preston walks off, when he keeps reading excerpts from his wife's autobiography.
Chantel.
That's the name.
Yeah.
When he storms off, and then the one with I forgot his fucking name. They were like a shit Sex Pistols knockoff.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I know what you mean. Blonde hair, sunglasses, and he's like, oh, can I smoke? He's like,
you're
smoking!
Danny Tourette's. It's something you can legally do at 16!
Yeah, it's just like, get over yourself.
His glasses on. It's like Danny Tourette's or something like that.
Yeah, no, I know Donny Tourette, I think it was.
Yeah, that's it. That was it, yeah.
Good episode. I remember that as well. Because it's just like, God, get the fuck over yourself. Like, who do you think you are? They've had like absolute like classic artists on there.
Yeah.
And then just some fucking bellend that no one's ever heard of. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be the cool guy.
They've had Anthony Costa from Blue. And he's really funny, to be fair, on that.
Dave Mustaine's been on. I know that much.
They've had a lot of big name people on there. Mostly British artists, obviously, but...
yeah, but there's like when you've got someone who's got like like where it's just funny to have them on. Like they maybe they can give as good as they take, or because they're so shit at it, it's just really cringy and awful. They're like, right, get them back on, and we'll wind them up some more.
That's why I liked people like that Anthony Costa guy. For like, I can't stand. I don't know if there's still a thing, but I couldn't stand Blue at all. But he could take a joke and he went with it. I mean, there's one when he's on about... They just talk about something else and he's like, it's the thing, you write a lot of your stuff as well. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, so which words do you write? And the? But he took it all in good jest. But then you have stuff like that fucking Donny guy who's just a fucking cock. Preston as well, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like how much could you go onto a show and then they are they spend however long, because obviously everything that was shown wasn't that's not the whole taping.
Yeah.
They spent however long like rinsing that same joke that she's a fucking idiot. Like if that's your missus or your fiance or whatever at that point, I'd say it gets to a point where you just be like, can we stop?
Yeah,
like you are just personally insulting my partner. Like, can you fucking rein it in a bit?
I do think you have to take in, like, if Preston ever thought The Ordinary Boys were anything more than a joke in the first place, it was him or her. So,
there's some brutal intros on that. There's a really good one where it's like someone from Destiny's Child. I can't remember which one, but it wasn't Beyonce.
So
obviously,
it'll be one of the other two. Probably not Kelly Rowland, but the other one.
I couldn't tell you. But it was just like... And it was just like, the next guest is the lead, like the lead singer from Beyonce, like from Destiny's Child's friend. And then it's just like not the main one, the other one. It's just like, oh, you fucking prick.
Fucking hell. That's what makes it funny, though. Like,
yeah, for sure. But I wouldn't mind going
away with it now.
No, I'd say so. Like you've got to be able to, like, it's why like Ricky Gervais carries on doing like the Golden Globes. Like these are people that make, more often than not, they make crazy amounts of money just by doing something not super difficult in terms of like compared to like being an astronaut or whatever.
Being an astronaut.
I mean, that's pretty difficult to be able to get blasted into space.
I don't think you can compare Preston from the Ordinary Boys to an astronaut.
No, he probably does, but
yeah, definitely.
But that's the thing. It's sort of like, but it's when people think they are that big, then it's good to have someone whose job it is to just
bring you down a bit.
Yeah, and just feel like, actually, you're probably not as cool as you actually think you are.
Definitely not. That's why you never saw anybody from your favourite band on there.
I don't know. I think there was like I don't know if anyone from like Metallica came on. Probably Lars, if anyone, but I'm pretty sure Bruce Dickinson came on.
I think he's
maybe, yeah.
I know. Like I say, mostly it's big British stars. If you have no idea what Nevermind of Buzzcocks is, it's on YouTube and everything. It's a genuinely very funny show.
Yeah, if you like music.
Yeah, it's a music quiz, essentially. But it's very funny. Anyway, we're not talking about that, Dan.
Sorry.
We do have some things to talk about, though.
We do, mate.
We're going to kick off with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Do you remember what it's called?
What, the episode name?
I can't.
I did. It was like I think it was like the Power Broker or something like that.
Makes sense.
Or the I can't remember, but it was something about either the Power Broker or because I figured like as soon as I saw like Sharon in that bar where she sort of like hoods up and just sort of scoots out, it kept on talking about this Power Broker, the Power Broker. I was like, oh, so it's Sharon Carter, that's cool. And then it's just like, oh, it's actually not her. It's just some other
we don't know
person that's going to show up later. I mean, maybe she's playing two sides. Who knows? No. But you would have thought after like the whole Hydra leak and Cap being exonerated and all the other Avengers being brought back into the fold, does that just mean there's like just random Shield agents that have just been like who were doing the right thing and helping Captain America and like get rid of Hydra or whatever? Oh. They're just all on the run because they can't come back.
Why wasn't
like
she
a dick move? Well, she stole Captain America's shield and Falcon's wings to give them back for Civil War, which made her an enemy of the state, I assume.
But so was Captain Falcon.
And exactly.
Everybody else on his team.
I mean, to be fair, they did save the world. So that could just be like, all right, you've earned your pardon.
I can't see Steve she's just like ringing him and he's just like, ooh.
Well, after Endgame, like he went back in time, don't forget, and then came back. Like he probably doesn't give a shit by that point. He's like, look, I've had my life, I've enjoyed it, I've done all my fighting and my wars and whatever. Sorry, Sharon, see you in a bit.
Yeah, fend for yourself.
But I do like the fact that they like Sam was sort of like, yeah, sorry, I didn't like try and find you or call or anything, and like so it's like when you're just like the big Avenger, you must just be so focused on big avenging stuff,
which makes
like
sense.
everyone had just. Along the way just seems to have got lost. Yeah, but when that's done, there's still a lot of people that have helped you along that way. You'd think that they'd give them a call and just check and make sure that they're not hiding in Madripoor.
Well, I don't know, because like the first episode was just like, I'm all about the boat and the family business and, I'm here now. You can rely on me. See you later. I'm gone. Bye. He's just fucked off. And where's his wings? Why'd you go to Madripoor? That's what I'm saying. Why'd you go all the way there without them?
Because you're supposed to be incognito. He's supposed to be this smiling tiger guy.
No. I don't mean like have them on underneath his fancy purple suit, but like when they got on that plane with Zemo, he hasn't got them.
Well, but it was an undercover mission, I suppose, wasn't it? Mm. Like the only way to have them around, you would get seen.
Do you think
I imagine that's the sort of place where it's like, look. If you just brought some wings in and hid them behind a bin outside, just in case things got a bit tasty, someone would nick them before you got back outside to
might have like a shock thing on them,
like Batman style.
Yeah,
maybe. But I'd like to
Morales as well.
I'd like to see it that like he's like they go in, like everything kicks off as obviously it would do. He comes out and then there's just some like poor kid just like,
like
just flying off into the distance.
When he does the trade for the jetpack, he's like boop, boop, boop.
It's like, God damn it, I'm never getting those back. Fuck.
Hey, I tell you what though, just speaking of Mandalorian, I modded
No.
Fallen Order. and it's very.
We've
good.
already gone off topic.
No,
We've
we're
got
back
to
on
stop
Falcon
doing
now.
that.
We're back on Falcon now.
Right. Okay.
So, I'm still reasonably positive that it is Sharon, the power broker.
There's this. Right. Okay. Well, there's also like the flag smasher thing. I don't know if they're trying to sell them as like this sort of like, maybe you're kind of on their side sort of thing.
I think there was up
Because
until this episode.
Maybe because like they're stealing supplies to give to people in refugee camps who have been displaced after they've come back after 5 years, and obviously the world's not really prepared for them. But then that means that they found this guy who's gone, oh yeah, I've been using Isaiah's blood samples to make a perfect super soldier serum. That means that you don't need to be like a super jacked, like Steve Rogers kind of dude. I didn't even notice that. I think I'm just so sort of used to just being like, oh, someone's just got super strength. They'll just look like whatever they look like. I didn't think of like, oh wait, no, they're not all absolutely fucking shredded.
Most of them are reasonably big.
I mean, they're big-ish, I guess, but I suppose the point of the serum is that you don't need to be huge and muscular.
No, but I mean, obviously, it doesn't. I don't know how they're going with the super soldier thing, because obviously Steve was super scrawny and skinny, and then obviously to show this is what it's done, he got massive, but it doesn't. He still can only lift a certain amount. He's still got to have that body density in order to back it up as well. Do you know what I mean? So Wolverine can lift a car because of the adamantium, not because he's super strong. It's just because his back and his legs won't break. And Steve still needs that. If he wasn't as big as he is, he'd still be strong, but I think he would be stronger.
Well, I thought the whole point of it was like he would get that serum injected into him, and then he would sit in like the Vita Ray, whatever it was, and it would make the biggest physical human being that's like capable of being a strong, like it creates the perfect man, and like you couldn't be as strong as that without being super powered separately. So if they don't need that to reach that same level of so it's not like it's this, what's her name, Carly, she's quite small, she's quite thin, but she could still punch a car around a bit. I don't think that means that
knocked Winter Soldier through the thing.
I mean, that was a pretty, she fucking clocked in one. But I don't think it means that, like, if she just did, like, relative weight training to her super strength, if she got more muscle, she would become stronger. I think the point of it is just that once you've gotten this serum... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like you don't need to be a super jack guy. Like, everyone would have the same level of strength, irrelevant as to how actually big they are.
Yeah.
So that's the impression I'm getting from it, because otherwise it's just sort of like if you just gave The Rock super soldier serum, he would be
Superman,
stronger than anybody else because no one else is that big before they start, taking it or whatever.
I think it's more so for the. I think I went the wrong way about it, but I think it's more like the bone part of it kind of thing. So like, Cap can still break an arm. He's not like invincible.
Well, they've already shown that these guys can absolutely get shot to fuck.
Yeah.
Take a bullet in the face, you're out. That's it.
Was it the last episode where they were getting on the plane, and he's like, "I'll buy us some time."
Yeah.
And then he pushes the lamppost over, or the telephone pole over, and then proceeds to just get shot because he runs at him. Why not just push that over and run
then
off?
Run? I thought the same thing. I don't know how much time you're really going to buy yourself, but I suppose it's like by stopping them all and then making them all shoot at him, that gives them time, because if they had stopped, they could have still shot the plane or something. I don't know.
Throw it at them.
It seems like one of those sort of self-sacrifice things where it's just like, you don't really need to sacrifice yourself. Like, there's a way around this, I'm sure, that doesn't mean you having to get yourself killed at the same time, but I suppose it's one less person to feed.
That's what I mean. I think it's more so that it's when the inevitable fight comes, there's going to be like 3 of them left, something like that.
Well, then that's fine, because then like now that the doctor guy is dead, I do like the fact that they've just gone, okay, Zemo, like everything about Hydra at this point, and also you hate the super soldier program. I don't remember that ever being mentioned previously.
Well,
I mean, like he clearly shot all of the other super soldiers in Civil War,
But
which is fine.
that was as part of his plan, though, wasn't it? Like,
So yeah, he didn't want
so that
anyone
makes
else
sense.
there.
But they're saying that he's been hunting them down. He's been hunting Hydra down for years for the super soldier stuff. We didn't know that because he only went after Bucky because of what happened at Sokovia.
Mm.
So,
and like he went to that facility in the middle of Arctic nowhere to I can't remember why he went there other than just to lure them in, because maybe he was just sort of like, I know that they've got super soldiers there, so if they think that I'm going there to get the super soldiers, then they will come.
Yeah, that's obviously what the plan was.
Yeah, but I never got the impression from him before this episode where he was just like, he hates Captain America because he's a super soldier. He was just sort of like, well, you fucked up in Sokovia. My family got killed because of it.
Yeah,
I can't take you out because you're the Avengers, but you can take each other out.
Yeah, that's what
never got the...
I got through the entire film.
Yeah, I mean, but it makes sense that it's a good building block for them to go. Yeah. Well, actually, he also doesn't like Hydra in general. Hence why he just drowned that Hydra guy and was just I don't care. I was like, your times are well past, mate.
Well, it's like I said, it was they were a means to an end kind of thing. So he learned what there was to know about Hydra. They learned about the finding the codes to set Bucky off and whatnot. Yep. So
but he got that from a dude in America, not from that base.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And but he's learned all of this stuff leading to those moments, so it made sense. And this does still make sense. It was just kind of a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit.
It was just field. A bit. Yeah, it kind of was just sort of like it just extrapolated on one thing that he did that we didn't really think that was another connecting point. But either way, though, like him sort of popping his mask on and just beating the shit out of a bunch of dudes and shooting everybody, and like Sharon as well, just like she was like, yeah, you fanny around in that thing, and I'll just like take all of these guys out, like just tearing them up. Like it's a bit annoying that the choreography is not quite movie quality.
It's not far off.
Sort of,
it's better than most. It's better than like CW stuff.
Absolute, 100%. It's just that when you see like these huge like choreographed fight scenes in like Avengers movies, they're brutal and they're like longer takes and stuff. And this seems a bit more sort of again, they're working on a smaller budget. It's only a couple of people, but overall, I'm still very much on board for this.
What I don't like is for a show called Falcon and Winter Soldier, everybody but Falcon and Winter Soldier has done something. Falcon,
well,
I tell like Falcon
America
has open the first scene. It's pretty much
and Bucky's like taken down a couple of people that benefited from Hydra, like he's like old hits. Then they've met up with New Cap and they're not interested in working with him. But then kind of they've just been following leads that Zemo's given them after that, I guess.
I mean, even Zemo did more in this episode, fighting wise, than
that's true. I mean, they did shoot a couple of people, I guess.
Yeah, but it's obviously building to stuff. But I mean, like Bucky had the scene in the bar when he had to pretend to still be the Winter Soldier, and that was quite cool.
Yeah, like Zemo's just like, that didn't take much, did it?
Yeah, it did.
I didn't have to twist his arm to batter everybody. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, Zemo's Batman, apparently. He's a fucking
I do like the fact
multi-billionaire. He's got a friendly butler. He's puts on a mask.
He's got a butler and
a
plane. If he's got a plane, why don't he just jump in that instead of taking a busted old tractor up to the Arctic?
Taxes.
Of course.
Yeah. Pay less.
Could have just taken a helicopter, but he's like, no. I'm just gonna poodle along in this.
It does seem like in Civil War they were playing like the everyman card. So this is a guy that's just like me and you, and he's lost his family, and he hates.
He was a soldier as well. He was
even though it's Baron Zemo, we didn't. I've never known him be like super wealthy in the comics, like billionaire.
Well, if you're a baron, you've got to be.
Yeah, but
Like that's owning land.
yeah, but like I always have the assumption that that's just what he amassed over the years of being a villain. Like in this, in this it seems to be like this is just what he's inherited from of being a rich.
I think it's like if he has to be in that kind of bad guy camp, like you've either got to be super powered or you've got to be super wealthy.
Yeah,
like you can't be without either. But the thing that I liked about him in Civil War was the fact that he was clearly well trained, and he was, he could
very clever.
Planned perfectly. He could wear disguises and trick people into doing things, and he fashioned the whole thing to get to a specific point.
Yeah.
And he knew that he was never going to be able to one-on-one with any of these guys. He doesn't fight anybody in that film.
No.
He just completely outthinks them. But then when he's sort of like doing flips over things and shooting people, I'm just like, maybe you could have given him a bit of a bloody go.
I mean, at least Hawkeye, Black Widow.
No, I think they still would tear him up. Like Black Widow's literally been an assassin for forever.
Considering the other alternative is Thor, Iron Man,
Black Panther,
Hulk.
Yeah, I'd like to see him just sort of, come on, Hulk, come on, let's have a crack at you.
He'd have a shot at Banner, but
well, you wouldn't take it though, would you?
No,
you
obviously.
Smack him in the face. He's going to go, right, well, I'm Hulk now. So
not if he didn't know it was Hulk.
I think everybody knows that everybody knows who they are.
I assume so.
Like Sam's getting recognised in the bank.
Yeah, that's
like he's not in a suit and goggles and stuff. They're just like, oh shit, you're the Falcon. That's cool.
Yeah. They never really touched on that, have they? Really, other than like Iron Man, where he's just like,
well, he was the one who sort of just,
I'm Iron Man,
because they know who Black Widow is. They know who Winter Soldier is.
But they shouldn't know who Black Widow is. She's a spy.
Yeah. No, but I think that was. I think they went through that in Winter Soldier, maybe, where it's just like, look, if you release these files, like you're outing yourself as a spy and all that sort of stuff as well. And she was like, well, I don't care.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Fucking great film. I might watch Winter Soldier again soon.
It's been a while. I was actually tempted to watch the first Avengers the other day.
I did
for some reason
a few months ago.
Yeah, just to see if, like, because that was like a big deal when that came out in sort of mid 2000s. Like, after seeing like Infinity War and everything, is it actually still, is it as powerful?
No,
maybe not.
It's not. It's still good. It's still very good, but it hasn't got the same effect at like watching it at the cinema for the first time. But we watched through from like we didn't watch Incredible Hulk, we watched from Iron Man through to Endgame a couple of months ago, and I mean it was a fucking slog because we were doing like 2 or 3 nights.
That's 60 hours or something.
Yeah. But it was good though. It was good. My favourites haven't really changed from rewatching them for a millionth time.
No, I think I'd. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Yeah. But speaking of Avengers, though, we have a new trailer for Loki, which is going to be directly after the sort of alternate timeline for Avengers, the first Avengers.
Yeah,
and it looks not as I expected.
It looks fantastic. Doesn't look like
it looks great.
Anything else?
Yeah, but I didn't realize that there was this sort of, because it seems a bit Umbrella Academy, that there's sort of like this agency that's like the time police.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, you've come in and you've fucked up the timeline, mate. So you
need to help us sort it out.
Well, what I'm curious of though is where were they during Infinity War then? When they went, let's do a time heist.
Blipped, maybe?
All of them? I'm hoping that they're just like, oh no, we're based like outside of time or like so far in the future.
Yeah, maybe they only get involved with certain stuff. Loki having the Tesseract and
It's just like, yeah, you're not an Avenger, mate. You shouldn't have this.
Yeah, this seemed like a recipe for disaster, kind of thing.
But he hasn't done any time stuff though, has he? Because
That we know of.
that's just the space stone. So he can go wherever he wants, but he can't go through time.
I don't know, because they're on about that when he steals the Tesseract, it caused like a branch in the time stream.
Yeah, but I don't understand how.
I don't know, maybe something happened during that pop. Maybe, I don't know, he hit something. Like a switch.
Or maybe it's like if the Tesseract isn't in that timeline anymore. But then it would still be, it's just that it would be, he could just go back to Asgard or to go wherever. So he'd stop the normal films from happening, but they still want, I don't know, whenever it comes to time travel, like,
do you think
it's anybody's guess?
If this is a really random thing, but when Infinity War happened, imagine that Disney Plus was already a thing, and everybody who got snapped, the films disappeared from Disney Plus, like they didn't happen. It's like Black Panther disappeared and stuff.
Right? Okay, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, I'd be annoyed because
it'd be really awkward. Because
it'd be like, I'm sorry, I paid for this service, and you've taken a bunch of the films that I wanted to watch off. You fuckers, what are you playing at?
Then you're emailing them and that, and they're like, we haven't made a Black Panther film. Like, we haven't.
So then I go clinically insane. I was like, but I saw it. It was good.
And then it comes back on again. And you're like, see, I told you it was there. Like, yeah, no, we watched it together, Dan. What are you on about? And you're like, what's going on? That'd be brilliant, actually. I wish they had done that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a very personalised form of marketing.
No. Plus, they'd have to change films that Black Panther showed up in and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think it's a shit idea. Right?
No, it was just a silly idea, and I did say that in advance. I hold my hands up to that. I just thought that would have been all right.
It doesn't work at all. No, terrible.
Loki, on the other hand, I pointed. Like, nobody can see where I'm pointing, but it's over there. Picture Loki. Looks excellent, and I think just from the trailer alone, this is where the budget for the Disney Plus Marvel stuff's gone. Looks a lot more high quality. Yeah, it looks very high quality. Like, WandaVision was niche.
Well, I like the fact that they're going to go like, okay, let's explore all these timelines that you've ended up creating, and so like there's clearly one where there's like a busted Avengers tower in the background. So if it's him sort of like going and like piecing together worlds that have broken, like it could be like a weird Doctor Who kind of thing.
It's
just like
yeah.
So I don't know, because like WandaVision was still very much localized to that one little town. Bucky and Falcon is just sort of like it seems to be sort of all over the world, whereas this is going to be like all throughout time. Like, when is it? Like June the 11th or something?
Yeah. So
I'm fucking livid.
Time, really.
Well, it's the 5th of April, mate. We've got 2 bloody months to go.
Wait, hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 5 weeks.
Yeah, but then by the time that Falcon and Winter Soldier have finished, there'll be a little gap, and then we'll be straight back in.
It's only 1 week, isn't it?
Yeah, which is what they did with Wanda.
6 weeks.
No, actually, no, because there's only 6 episodes of Falcon Winter Soldier. So WandaVision had
yeah, more than. There's 3 weeks left of this.
Yeah.
That's a massive gap.
Yeah, so there'd still be a gap, but I don't think they're working on we're going to do these little individual shows and there's going to be a week gap in between all of them. It's just that's how it's worked out. Probably pushed back by the pandemic and whatever. I would, to be fair. Because
when have we got Black Widow hitting Disney Plus?
Oh, I think that was June or July.
I think it's July. I want to say July.
Yeah, that looks fucking banging, actually. Like, the second trailer for that just came out. Like, that looks like it's a proper action movie.
Yeah.
It's not about fucking Infinity Stones and, gods and whatever. It's just her just kicking the shit out of people, shooting everyone.
Looks really good. We get to see, oh my God, Strange Thing, David Harbour,
yeah.
Flexing his beer belly.
And his big old biceps.
Massive arms.
God.
Massive arms.
Do you reckon that's off the back of Hellboy?
I know he
He's
definitely,
just
he
like,
definitely
I've got
beefed
to
up
stay
for
in shape.
Hellboy. That was massively disappointing.
It was, wasn't it?
I only watched about maybe half an hour, maybe a very generous
I did
half an
not
hour.
watch it.
It's not good.
I think that he
great.
looked great in it. I think he was cast well. I think everything else was just not very good, which is just such a shame.
Doing from the off, like people kind of not like campaigning against it or anything, but obviously with it not being Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman was a very good choice for Hellboy. They just had to paint him red, but that was it. But I think I really did like his David Harbour's Hellboy. I very much liked him. The film just wasn't good. Simple as
it's
that.
just a shame, really.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a rich universe to pull stuff from. But you're competing with a lot these days.
I still think if Hellboy had come out,
comic book character wise,
if it had come out later, it would have been not better received because it was reviewed well, just nobody watched it. Because back when it came out, comic book films wasn't a big property.
No, but it's more sort of it's more sort of fantasy, I suppose, more than just your general comic book.
Yeah, I can tell.
Superman, whatever.
Yeah. It's good though.
We did talk about Justice League, didn't we?
We did a
Snyder Cut.
We did like a podcast that was half the length of the Snyder Cut.
It's fine. I just didn't want to bring that up again.
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely did it last week.
Oh, okay, good.
Last week, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to Loki. It looks, I think it looks very good. It looks like that Marvel comedy action mix is back in there.
That's the thing, because like if you've watched Avengers recently, like he's sort of like quite a scary kind of like bad guy, and then he's just sort of like. Now he's just like, oh, for God's sake, like, why is everyone just such a prick? And I want to be the biggest prick, and I can't be the biggest prick because everyone else is a prick.
Everyone's already doing it.
But that's like, so this Loki isn't Loki that's gone through Ragnarok and, he's had all of his comedy adventures or whatever. This is Loki from the end of the Avengers, where he's still very much the bad guy.
Yeah. He hasn't been an anti-hero.
No, well, he hasn't had that turn. So maybe he'll still be a bit of a prick, or Owen Wilson will just crack the whip and just be like, "You're like outside of time, mate."
I don't know, because it took a lot for Loki to get to that point. Like in Infinity War, it was obviously saving Thor. Not saving him, but trying to, where he gets himself killed. Spoilers for Infinity War, but when he gets killed there, he is doing a good thing. And I think it's going to be a lot before this version of Loki gets to a point like that.
Well, it seems like these time guys have just been like, "You're going to have to come with us to help fix all of this," and he's just like, "All right, sure." Yeah. And then, like the first chance he's got, he's just zipped off to wherever. But I don't know this Time Watchers or whatever they call it. Is that a real thing?
I'm not very familiar with them. If it's if they're a regular occurrence in the comics. So that we'll have to keep an eye on. I haven't looked into it because I don't want to really spoil anything in case it's drawing anything from a particular arc. But it makes sense that they would exist. I don't think they've been made specifically for this TV show. Everything that's got any form of time travel and stuff has got time police. Like, if Doctor Who's got it, Marvel's got it. So
I don't know if there's time police in Doctor Who.
The Flash.
The Flash is the time police?
No, the Flash. It's got them thingies that chase him when he fucks about with time. What they called? You got them demon things. That whenever Flash fucks about with time, you got them demon things that come after him.
That sounds familiar, actually. Now that I think about it, it's like time ghosts or something.
Yeah. I assume that's like the equivalent of the Flash's time police.
Well, so it's not like a conscious force that's following him through time. It's just like we keep on doing it, and time will eventually fuck you up.
Yeah.
Right.
Leave our shit alone.
Well, I want to see what kind of like wacky adventures this guy gets up to in this.
I think it's potential for it to be a really not Wonder level like zany, but like a couple of episodes where stuff happens. We go, what the fuck just happened? And then just back
I think it'll be
whatever.
like it'll be him sort of. I think you'll have that sort of like human moment where he's just like, oh, maybe I have been the bad guy this whole time.
Yeah,
like where he sees like a version of Asgard that's been fucked over by or Hela. Like if you know, it's I suppose it's difficult to say as to who could come up or what. But like, surely then, if this is the case, where he's sort of like going through different branching timelines, surely that would be the good starting point for like the What If series, rather than just making it like an animated thing.
Potentially,
because it'd be like, you know, with you got the Ancient One, who's saying like you take one of the time stones out of the main flow of time, and all these weird offshoots will come up. Yeah. And if that's exactly what Loki's done, so it'd be like, you know, every episode would be him visiting like a new version of Earth or Asgard or wherever to sort of see what's happening,
see what different things.
And like the more he's seeing the impact of it, he's just like, oh god, maybe I should sort myself out, and you know, kind of get that redemptive moment back.
I think they could run with something like that very easily. I think it'll be. I've got a feeling it's going to be they're like, you need to come and do this, and he's like, yeah, and then, like you say, the first chance he gets, he fucking does one, and then he just ends up back there, and then he just learns like, I'm just going to have to fucking help him. Wasn't going to be stuck here
they're like,
forever.
Yeah, it was just like, look, we exist outside of time, mate.
Yeah,
like we can just, it doesn't matter where you go or what you do, we'll definitely find you, and just you'll end up straight back here again.
I love how it's like all of time that they can. I don't know whether they control time, but their job is time and everything else. But it's so like stupidly retro.
I love it. It's like
so
all 60s, 70s suits or whatever.
And he comes in, he's just like, "Can you sign here to say that this is everything you've ever said?" He's like, "You got to be kidding me!" And then the fax machine is like,
yeah,
very clever. Did you see the? It was like I think it was when episode 1 of Falcon and Winter Soldier came out, and it's Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston, and they're just like, look at this cute double act. Don't know if anybody knows, but we are also a double act, and we've got our own show coming out. And Owen Wilson's just like reeling all this stuff off, and it's like, here's a poster for our new show. Then it's just a poster of Loki. Nobody else is on it, just Loki. It's quite funny.
No, I haven't seen that.
I say it's a few weeks ago with the first episode of Falcon, but it did make me laugh.
Oh, I definitely didn't.
But it's nice seeing Wilson show up in something like this, though. He's kind of one of the big names that hasn't obviously
crossed over.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's a lot of bigger actors, but do you know what I mean? I don't know what the right term is to kind of put him in, but like he's been in like the Hunger Games and stuff, hasn't he? No, he wasn't in the Hunger Games.
But like you're not going to get like a Robert De Niro or something like that show up in this.
No,
I think
there was rumours that he was going to be in WandaVision.
Doing what?
I think he was going to be playing the devil. That's what the rumour was.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a bit too old. It's just sort of like, forget it.
It was from. Do you remember? Oh,
20.
I knew. I was umming whether to do it or not. Paul Bettany was in an interview, and he said it's not going to be. I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Quicksilver. From X-Men, not MCU.
Evan Peters.
Him. He's not the only. That's not the last cameo.
Oh yeah. He's just like, I'm going to be working with an actor that I've admired for years, and you know, whatever. And he's obviously talking about himself. Which is quite good.
That's who it was, and that was super fucking genius, and played everyone like a fucking fool. But somebody pulled up an interview, and one of the actors he named who he really wanted to work with was Robert De Niro, which is where that rumour came about.
Well, name me an actor who doesn't want to work with Robert De Niro.
Bob Hoskins.
He's dead.
He is. bad choice. But
he wasn't that or Robert De Niro.
No,
it's just like, well, you can work with Robert De Niro or you die. He's like, see you later.
There's got to be someone that's had a feud with Robert De Niro. There has to be.
I don't know. Like, he's been around long enough to be just like one of the most respected actors. Like, who'd be stupid enough to go on TV or whatever and go, I think he's a prick. Like, no one's going to side with you, are they?
I heard Jimmy Kimmel said that he'd never interview him because he thought he was a dickhead.
I'd watch that one for sure. I'd watch someone like a fucking moron like that sit up against Robert De Niro and go, well, I think you're terrible. And just watch him just get absolutely slaughtered.
Literally. As he just batters him.
Yeah, I'd
definitely watch that episode. That'd be a great episode.
Yeah, it'd be like the Joker thing. You know, in Joker, where he's...
But the other way around.
Yeah, but the other way around, exactly, yeah.
That'd be a good episode. I like that. Speaking of movies, though, Dan, because we don't know a lot about Loki, I feel we should just move on.
It's a good little trailer. We got a new trailer for Black Widow. We got a new trailer for Space Jam, the Legacy Edition or whatever it's called. The Legacy. I don't know. Space Jam Legacy something or something Legacy. I don't know. Sure. Looks fine, I guess.
I'll be honest. Like, I mean, I did say to you yesterday, I really loved the first Space Jam film, and I know it's not a good film, and I know it's not, and I'm never going to say it. Even when I liked it, I knew it wasn't a good
years,
film.
So I couldn't tell you if
it's on Netflix.
Really?
Or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. I asked Logan if he wanted to watch it, and he was like, "No." I'm like, okay.
No, he wants to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That is the pinnacle of
seen it.
Live action cartoon crossovers. Brilliant.
It's definitely still one of my favourite films of all time. And Logan has watched it twice, I think. And he likes it as well. So, winner.
Excellent.
But I think this genuinely looks like a much better film. Not than Roger Rabbit, than the first Space Jam. This looks like it's going to be a better film. It looks
more colourful, I'll give you that. There's a lot more going on.
I don't know if I like the animation.
I don't know, what do you mean, like the cartoon stuff, or when they turn into real cartoon?
The real
animals?
Cartoon. I don't like the designs as much as I liked the original Space Jam designs.
Right.
And I don't know why. Because they look more realistic.
Sure.
Like there's that bit when Bugs has got his arm out and it's just going,
and
he's getting all like furry and stuff. And it looks pretty cool, but I don't know. Also, I saw today MJ from Spider-Man is voicing Lola. Tom Holland. MJ. I could never say her name. I apologise.
Zendaya.
I was going to refer to her as MJ.
Sure.
She's voicing Lola.
Okay, cool.
Actually, you got LeBron James instead of Michael, the main man, Jordan. Who do you think is going to be a better actor?
Neither of them.
Well, one of them has to be better.
No, neither of them. I think the ball is going to do better.
Well, we hope.
Well, I tell you, I say that. I watched Castaway the other day, which is a film I haven't seen for about 20 years. The beginning and the end are a bit sort of, but like the actual like stuck on an island survival stuff, not bad.
I never loved it.
I think it's just a good, it's still, whether, you know, even though it's like on an island and is whatever, it's still sort of like at heart, it's like a romantic film because he's trying to get back to his wife and it's just like dun dun dun. She's got married and had a kid, mate. So tough tits. Like you shouldn't have got stuck on that island.
I mean, I don't think he intended to. I don't remember the film all that well, but I don't think his intention...
No, he did. No, he did, because like right at the start, like so there's this thing where they're like, you know, they're getting all the parcels over to thing, and then he's got to go and jump on the plane. He's got to fly it over, and then they're doing a thing like they're going through they're going through turbulence in the air, and they're just like, oh, quick, Tom Hanks, you better strap yourself in because turbulence is incoming. And he goes into the cockpit and grabs the steering wheel, goes, and just smashes it into the sea. And that's how they all died. It's terrible.
I don't remember that bit so much.
No, I made that up.
I was going to say.
No, he absolutely did not want to crash that plane.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it, and I would have took your word on that, Dan, because I don't intend to watch it anytime soon. And it'll probably be like a quiz or something. I'll be like, oh, I know. He murdered
Tom Hanks
everyone.
purposely crashed that plane.
What a film.
It's pretty good, actually. It does actually quite hold up.
I remember Wilson.
Wilson's still in it, obviously. It's not the director's cut, minus Wilson.
I saw...
It was 2000 that came out in.
That's later than I
You'd asked
thought.
me, like, what year did that come out? I'd be like 94,
yeah,
95
yeah.
maybe.
I'd have said like Titanic and Romeo and Juliet era.
Yep.
2000
it came
guilty
out.
pleasure like Romeo and Juliet. Or where they where they modernised it all up and stuff.
I remember them forcing us to watch that in like an English class at school. And
Yeah,
I
we watched
hated
it. I watched it at school. I was like, oh, good.
I was just like, I was just like, oh, that's a cool update. But other than that, I just fuck off.
There's way worse films. Way worse films. Space Jam Legacy being one. Nah, it's fine. But I saw a thing ages ago, just really randomly, because you mentioned Castaway, and it said, fun fact, Wilson from Castaway was also the same bull from Top Gun. I don't think it is.
Maybe.
I think it's just a joke.
Rather than playing volleyball and then it's just his face just sort of like on the side, just flying past.
I don't know. Probably just because they're both balls, I think, was the...
That'd be the crossover of a generation, that would, wouldn't it?
Wow, yeah.
Castaway, Top Gear.
Top Gear.
Top Gun, sorry.
Wow.
Jeremy Clarkson.
That's a crossover. He's got a
James
TV
May
show, hasn't he?
Shirtless playing volleyball on the beach in Brighton or something.
I'd watch that. That'd be hilarious. He's got his own show that's like just been absolutely like lambasted with angry people. Where it's basically just
What is it?
It's like a
Jeremy Clarkson, the old racist man.
Basically, yeah. Now he opens up with a very untasteful joke about Meghan Markle and the Oprah interview thing.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I couldn't be asked to read the article too much, but basically, all I call on Twitter is just like, this is just a shit version of Harry Hill's TV Burp, basically.
Oh, TV Burp. I still watch compilations of TV Burps.
It's still very funny. But
it's fucking amazing, mate.
You know what I want to come back? Tarrant on
TV. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Great show.
That was the only time I watched... I watched something quite late and I'd see nudity in some way, because it would just be like, oh, actually no, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Tarrant TV had nudity as well, because it had like the weird Japanese adverts and stuff.
Yeah,
and it'd be like,
I don't think it'd be shocking enough these days.
No,
I think if you did Tarrant on
not.
TV and it's just like, oh, he's just a weird man in a silver suit. And people are just sort of like, I see that shit on TikTok all day.
Yeah, you have to think now, like, we've got... Oh, do you remember the adverts? It had the guy from Lost with the long blonde hair. Got a good-looking chap. I'll point him out after. You'll know who he is. But
Sawyer.
Maybe. I didn't really watch Lost all that much, but I know he was from
He was
Lost.
in Mission Impossible. Like, he gets killed in Mission Impossible.
Maybe.
Well, Matthew Fox is the main guy, and then it's...
Yeah, it wasn't him. It was like he's very like model looking guy.
Yeah, he's done like a perfume advert, I think.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah, where he's on top of it. He's like Davidoff for men, but it's just him with like an open shirt on top of a cliff, but it's like pinks and purples, like all the lights and stuff, and he's just there. He's just like, and then he just falls in the water. And he's like, what's the fuck's this? And it's just like, Davidoff, cool water for men. Like, but he didn't put any aftershave on whatsoever.
I fucking hate those adverts. I absolutely hate them.
That's what Tarrant on TV was, though. Where it'd just be like a cat with a vibrator, like, just, I don't know, tracing a squirrel on a window, and then it'd be like,
yeah,
Cadbury's cream egg. And you go, what? Like, nothing happened.
The cats are all the buzz about it. Thank you.
Man, if I could be asked to switch across to the stream deck, you'd have got a very big applause. But you didn't, so
it's fine, don't worry.
Anyway,
Tarrant on TV, bring it back. Perfume commercials, get rid of them. That's the outcome.
The beauty of cutting the cord down, I don't see any of that anymore. Now I'm all digital and no live TV. Don't get
what you on about?
Adverts. Don't get those silly adverts anymore.
Oh yeah. No. So like whenever, because I don't watch television unless I'm usually at a friend's house and we're watching something on TV, and then a commercial comes on, and it's just like there was. I think we did actually do it where it was. I can't remember anything about the advert itself, but it was so vague. I was just like, 20 quid. What is this advert about? And he was like, coffee. And I was like, I think it's a car advert. And then it was just for like, the tax office or something. Like, it's just it's an advert that's like the Old Spice adverts are just, they're real good. It's just like, this is what you smell like when you wear this aftershave.
Okay,
look like
now look at me. Look at you.
Yeah, perfect. It's just like, that's what you want. That's the effect that you get from it, or theoretically you get from it.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like just like pretentious, like circle jerking, just like, oh, it's like gliding on an asteroid through a starlit sky. Skoda.
Yeah, like
it's
noodle.
like, no, just give me the stats. Like, just a good old Top Gear, sort of like top trumps. It does this many miles to the gallon. It does come in an electric version. This is how many miles you can get on the battery. It's hybrid. It's carbon neutral. You get cup holders and there's a TV inside it. It costs this much.
Yeah.
Feel free to buy one. That's what I want to see. That's how you sell to me.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, here's how it evokes emotion from, all of the drivers or whatever. It's like, most of the people that are going to be driving this are going to be stuck in traffic on the M6, like getting more and more annoyed. All they want to know is, am I going to have to stop for a piss? Is there a bedpan attachment that comes out of the glove box or something like that?
There is, but it's like £40 extra for a plastic bowl.
That's not bad. All that extra petrol you'd save stopping and starting.
But it also converts the urine into fuel.
Or water. Have a little drink.
Many years ago, this guy created a car that ran on water, and Ford bought the patent for it.
So they didn't have to do anything against it.
Well, as we don't have these cars, you can see what happened.
Well, it's like I did see, it's a bit sort of conspiracy theory-ish, but it's like whenever someone comes up with like a brand new like electric motor or electric car or whatever, all of the oil and petrol companies will buy the patents up, so that no one can release anything that would. And I just think that is just because that that it's a threat, but it's a good kind of threat because it's driving progress. And you're like, no, we need to keep people on fossil fuels as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are they going to lose? All your oil tycoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, but if they said, well, we don't want to be, we've made tons and tons and tons and tons of money off this sort of stuff, but it's not sustainable for not only the world, but for our business as well. As soon as that last drop of oil's gone, we are fucked. So someone's come along, they've come up with a great idea for this like electric motor or whatever. We'll buy it because we can control how that's released. Yeah. But we will still be a market leader when inevitably we push that over our own oil stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't. They'll just sit on it until the last possible second and then go, oh, fine, all right, we'll do a hybrid car. Yeah. Sure. Bear in mind that like petrol cars are supposed to be like off the road or whatever it is by like 2030 or something. It doesn't seem like anyone's really doing anything about it.
From what I can gather, it's going to be so if you've got a petrol or diesel car from, I want to say like 2007 onwards, something like that, the government will buy that car off you and you put that money towards an electric car. I don't think you'll be driving around and you're like, whoop, 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 whoop. You pull over, they're like, can you get out of the car, sir? And then it just gets scrapped.
It's like, can I smell petrol on your trousers?
There's too many vehicles on the road for that. But I think
that's fine. I'd just say get some Chinooks with magnets on them. And whenever you spot someone with an exhaust pipe that's pumping out fumes, you just plop that bad boy down.
I
drop it straight in the incinerator.
So your service will go up like super expensive.
Yeah, petrol will be unaffordable.
Yeah, you're not going to be able, you're going to look at it and go, I may as well just get a fucking hybrid. And then X amount of years.
But that should have also happened 30 years ago.
With the planet had been in a much better state.
Well, like, what about like military units, like tanks? Are they going to just be like all electric tanks?
This is so weird. I had this exact conversation the other day. Like planes and stuff. Didn't matter.
Yeah, like, well, I was talking to
Captain Birdseye.
no, I was talking to an estate agent the other day, funnily enough, he's from London originally, and we were talking about sort of like property prices in Manchester compared to London and like the expense of. And he says, you know, he sort of drives down every now and then, but like because they're building a brand new high-speed railway system,
right?
It's going to link London to the Midlands, then the Midlands to Manchester, and like Manchester and Crewe are getting, but it's like directly behind my place, basically. So it means that potentially when it's all up and running, it's not for like another 10 years, but I could get to yours in like half an hour.
That's good.
So it's just super fast, basically, but it only hits like big marks along the way.
Yeah.
But he was saying like driving, you know, he's got a car and he doesn't like to, you know, he'd get an electric car, but there isn't an electric car that he could do the trip back to his like family in London in one go.
Yeah,
he'd have to stop, but that like the recharge rate is like 8 hours or something like that to charge the car back up. So he just wouldn't be able to drive.
Stay over somewhere and charge it up.
Exactly. So like, how the fuck's that going to work with the plane?
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, your tanks, planes, not so much buses, because I assume somewhere there is an electric bus, but all your big,
I mean, most of the ones in Manchester are, but like your diesel sort of, like your good old double decker buses and all that sort of stuff, maybe not so much. But like, you know, once you started replacing like the roads with like electric track under the road, so like as you're driving, it is charging.
Yeah.
But we're decades away from that sort of thing, because then you would be able to just
still haven't filled the pothole in that's at the top of our road. So
replacing the entirety of everyone's roads with like electric conductive, like a wireless charging road.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure at the moment, and I could be wrong, but I think Teslas have got the most distance on one charge, and it's still not.
But
enough.
If you are making a long distance thing, though, then you do have to stop along the way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's not ideal, really, is it?
They need one with like solar panels that just charge as it's driving.
That might work in America, but in this fucking country,
I
don't think you'd have the sun out long enough to actually charge it.
Yeah, like a big torch, just hold it over.
That's just like a perpetual energy machine. That's what the world wants.
I was watching a Rival podcast earlier, and Elise was on it.
Oh,
and she's got this. I can't for the light. It's basically like a sad light, something like that.
A sad light,
something like that, and it's basically because she's working from home and stuff, and because of where they are, she has to have the blinds drawn, just because of where the computer is and stuff, and she wasn't getting enough natural sunlight, so she bought this light that's basically like the sun,
right?
And it's meant to, like, if you're feeling shitty, if you put this light on it, it gives you that sensation of the sun and makes you a bit happier. And Gus is just like, what is it? So it's just a light. She goes, yeah, she turns it on and it's just like, and it's so bright. It's mental.
Yeah.
But we get something like that.
What, just strap it to the front of your car?
Yeah.
It's not really how solar panels work, I'm afraid.
A solar panel doesn't need like direct sunlight. As long as the sun's out, it'll still charge.
Yeah, but the more sunlight, the better, obviously. Cause it's still,
if you're hitting
it's
like
a sensor.
40 degrees, then it's going to be sound. If the sun's out and it's not cloudy, it'll still charge your stuff up. Like, I've got solar lights outside and it's never sunny here. So.
True, but there's a difference between a little light bulb going bing and just being on overnight and a car that's running at full capacity and the radio and the air.
Yeah. But
like, you need to advance solar panels to be able to absorb more energy.
It'd just be like a top-up, wouldn't it? So you'd still plug it in to charge your Tesla, and then you'd have like a solar panel.
Shave some time off if you
basically the same as a hybrid works. So once you've your fuel runs out, the electric kicks in. And
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but that means that you'd need like a passive charge and an active charge.
Yeah.
So like your solar powered, so you could basically your body work would just have to be like a solar powered like layer on top of it or something. So constantly during the day, that is absorbing energy.
Yeah, your hybrids. That's how you don't plug in a hybrid. The electric engine is charged from the fuel
dynamo,
engine.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So couldn't you do the same thing? So say you had 2 engines, for argument's sake, and you've charged one, and then while you're driving, that charges the other one.
Potentially, I guess, but I suppose it depends on like the amount of energy stored versus how much is wasted versus how much is generated. Because like if it could generate,
by the way,
no, but I imagine the fact that like it can't generate enough, like it can't generate the same amount of power that it puts out. Otherwise, that would just be perpetual energy, and then we've no need for like you just make a big one of those, power a city or something, and
an arc reactor. That's what we need.
Exactly, yeah, but that's impossible technology. It's like it's something that just gives infinite output with like.
I suppose you'd have to look at whether, like, when I run out of fuel, I got a 30 mile in my reserve tank, so I know I've always got 30 miles once I hit that red, and I just go fuel up. Do electric cars have the same kind of like reserve? Do you think? Again, I haven't got an electric car, so I don't know.
No, I suppose it depends on how long that energy lasts, because like. You know, you can charge up a battery and just leave a battery on its own, and it will run out of charge because it'll just, you know,
it's like kinetic. Isn't
it? So like the only thing you could do is like like fast charging for phones is like that's been a big deal. So it's not all night now; it's just 40 minutes, and you've got a full charge, and that will last 3 days or whatever. So increasing how fast you can push energy into that car that'll be probably the way to go, I reckon.
I'd say that'll be the next thing. So rather than make
bigger and bigger and bigger batteries, like it's instead of it taking 8 hours to charge, it takes 8 minutes.
Yeah,
so you can just
go
nip into a service station. Yeah, exactly. Buy a brew and a newspaper or whatever, and by the time you come out, boom, full charge, and that's another 500 miles.
That's what they need to do it so it's the same as filling up. So you go, getting a bit low, and you pull in and you plug it in. Get your electric, put it back.
Electric cars have only really kind of been popular and gotten more popular in the last sort of decade or so.
Yeah,
so
I'd say so. I think
we're a fair way away from that.
You've got your YouTube celebs and whatnot are kind of pushing that because it's new and cool. So a lot of them have.
But they are cool.
They're fantastic.
Like the shit that they do. Like people are just falling asleep and they just drive themselves.
Yeah, there's a guy around here with a Tesla.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking ace until you're crossing the road, taking Little into school, and then it's just like, didn't see you when I fucking looked. It's literally like nothing, and then he's just there. You're like, fucking Christ! But they have got a noise just so you can hear it, but it's not loud.
Yeah, but it's so like less noise pollution. But they're like, I did see it was like a side by side for like. I don't know which version of the Tesla it is. I'm assuming one of the most expensive ones. It's like 200 grand. But they put like stats compared to a Bugatti, not the Veyron, like the Chiron, I think, or something like that. And it's almost the same. Like in terms of like its top speed, like how quickly it gets. I think it was faster, like 0 to 60, than like this car that's like 2 million or something.
It'll be lighter though, won't it, as well? So.
True, but it's like it's far more affordable. It's far more economical. You could put other people and shopping and stuff into it, so that
Teslas.
Makes more sense. Yeah, I just think that is the car of the future. Yeah. Like they seem to be, it's like an 18-year-old nerd that's got like, if I had all the money, I'd make cool electric cars and I'd go into space and stuff.
Yeah, it's essentially our version.
I'd make flamethrowers.
So.
Well, it looks better than a fucking DeLorean.
No, but I mean, like, back in, like, the 80s, a DeLorean was, like, a cool car, and it was really, like, futuristic looking and stuff.
Was it, though?
Yeah, because of Back to the Future.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the broken down piece of shit that it was built on top of.
No, but it just looks.
Otherwise, they would have used a fucking Porsche or something.
No, what I mean is it looks out of this world. It doesn't look like a car that belongs.
I disagree. I think it looks like a normal fucking shit car. It's just that when you've got all the Back to the Future gear on top of it, then it looks cool. But I think you could do that with a fucking van. Like, it wouldn't make any difference.
The mystery machine.
Yeah, and if that can travel through time,
pretty sure
fine.
It does in some.
Probably,
anyway,
I don't care.
Speaking of time, Dan, Godzilla.
Yeah, that's the most modern of time travel movies.
We had time travel in it. Kinda.
No.
Dimension hopping.
No.
What is it then?
It's like a gravity wormhole.
But they go to a new place.
It's inside our own planet, though.
I suppose, yeah.
It's not like they go back in time to the land of Titans. That still very much exists. Yeah. It's just downstairs.
It's not quite downstairs, but...
Well, apparently you can just drill to it with a big fucking blowtorch.
Blowtorch?
Which kind of negates the point of everything else that's happened so far. So, basically, spoilers for Godzilla versus Kong, by the way.
Very good spoilers.
There's quite a bit of this that when I like it, I really like it. So... Kong and Godzilla fighting, brilliant. Mm-hmm. I love it. Like, they both just seem way more like emotive, and like they seem like they've actually got kind of like personalities.
Yeah.
I think at one point Godzilla sort of like goes like,
yeah, it's when he
like he's got like yeah, he just belts him, and he's like, "Ha, gotcha," which is a bit sort of like, oh, okay, it's a bit weird, but whatever. But they seem to like have a bit more personality to them.
Yeah.
Spoilers again.
Big
Mechagodzilla is, I love it. It's this big janky, like not like Pacific Rim robot. It's like it's kind of, it looks like cobbled together, you know, but it's incredibly powerful. Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but it's just so big and daft. I love the fact that they've got like space cars that have got like energy drive things that just all of that, love it. I like the fact that Kong has got a like a little contact, this little deaf girl, who's the remnants from one of the
I suppose she's
Skull
essentially
Islands
Jane,
people.
Isn't she? Really,
I guess in that sense, yeah. Except that she taught him how to speak sign language on the sly without anybody noticing whilst he's in a gigantic dome. Sure. So her and like her sort of like the woman who works for Monarch, like their kind of little relationship, and they don't want, they get that Kong is incredibly dangerous, but he's not a bad guy.
Yeah. And he's
every other human element to that film, fuck it off. I do not care. I don't care about Millie Bobby Brown and fucking Firestarter mate from Deadpool, and then some random conspiracy theorist. Their fucking weird adventure. Get rid of all of that.
Why
I could not give.
It?
The only reason that it was is that it leads up to the point where they spilled some whiskey in a hole and it turns off the satellite that controls Mechagodzilla.
But anybody
that
could
was
have
the
done
only reason. Exactly. Why did it need to be all three of them? Like, the only reason I can think of that being in there is that they needed to justify her coming over into this film because she's like a big name at the moment.
I suppose.
So they had to have some reason.
Big of a role, though.
No, she followed a conspiracy theorist through a company that's made a Godzilla, a robot Godzilla, on the sly, and they just managed to sneak past all the security. Let's say that there was no security. They just managed to get onto like a weird maglev train thing, get shipped off to Hong Kong with the skull crawler eggs, like I get rid of all of that. There was no need for that to be in there.
How did they build
so fucking stupid
these like train things? They go from America through McDonald's.
Yeah, lots of fast food.
No, but like surely like that seems like a really clever way to make a load of money. You've just invented this hyper travel.
True, but they want to build so the thing is though, I get why they built Mechagodzilla. They're saying like, Godzilla's like it can flatten cities, and then a couple of years ago we had Ghidorah and Rodan and Godzilla, and all of them just going to town on each other and just wiped out cities as they were going through it. Maybe we don't allow that to happen anymore, and we build a big Godzilla thing that's more powerful than Godzilla. The problem is, though, as with Iron Man, I suppose, the arc reactor, to power something like that, you need a huge energy source. And then they found that I still don't get the whole why Kong needed to take them down there, because they knew that they could go into that wormhole thing, and that it was like weird gravity forces.
It kind of, I'm assuming, I don't know, because he doesn't really specify. He obviously leads them to the cave.
He takes them to like that cave thing with the axe, which is cool. Yeah,
up the doors, which obviously they wouldn't have been able to do without him.
I suppose, yeah.
But it doesn't go. Oh, it's almost like it's calling to him. They just go, follow him. He's running. And then you just.
But they said that. Yeah, they said that he would just be sort of like pulled there by like, there's just some part of him that knew what he would have to do when he got there, which is fine. But then Godzilla goes, oh, that guy that I fought before, he's directly beneath me in the center of the earth. Well, I'm just going to drill down.
It's when he put the axe on, wasn't it? So, because
yeah. But that means that he was still like, because he just went straight down. So that means that he was directly beneath him in this cave. And then there was no weird gravity wormhole thing.
Not there.
It's just a hole.
Yeah. Because they fly through it and he just bobs through it. Because also, wouldn't it pull everything up? Or down?
No, because it's sort of like gravity sort of like meets in the middle, doesn't it? So like everything goes down, but then it comes up.
I suppose, yeah.
So like Kong jumps into the hole, but then he gets like he gets sucked through until he gets to sort of like the halfway point or whatever, and then he climbs out on the other side. But that just makes me think that it would be a lot easier to just, rather than fanning around with that wormhole, just dig a big hole until you get to the Hollow Earth, and then
it's also
job done.
He didn't just like pull out a drill and it's atomic breath from Godzilla. So.
True, but they just built a Godzilla that's got the same fucking laser breath thing.
I mean, it would have been
just
easier
instead of mounting it in
that.
Yeah, for sure. Like just use it like 40% power or whatever it is, and just keep on going until you finally get through.
So Skull Island isn't the same place, is it?
What?
You know where they go, then they go through, and where they find the cave and the axe and everything. Why was Kong and his family at Skull Island if they're from this place?
It would have made sense if there was like a portal to this Hollow Earth, like at Skull Island, I guess. But it wasn't. Like the only one that they knew about was in the Arctic. So they had to fly him all the way there. So maybe they just popped out and just wandered around the world for a bit. I don't know.
Maybe, but it's just a bit weird. Because you got like the big statues and stuff, and there was that massive statue with the finger like pointing that he tries to grab and that. And then in the like the temple-y thing, they had the big Kong statues. But then it was like, it's like all that was there. Why was his mom and dad, I'm assuming, on Skull Island?
I don't know. Maybe there was a big fight in the temple or something. They had to bail out and go back to the surface or something. I don't know.
Godzilla's from the same place as well, I'm assuming.
Oh, it seems there's a lot of monsters from that place that are all sort of, they all look awful and terrifying.
I didn't like the weird, bright, pigeon-looking bat things.
A pigeon, that were on the roof. Yeah. Or like the weird vulture bat things. Yeah, they were gross.
They were really weird looking. Like, they were cool, very cool.
But I did like the flying snakes, though.
Yeah, they were
just smart. Like, what if you gave a snake wings so it could fly and attack you? Like, it's cool. Just fucking hell.
And sort of owner is just like,
yeah, they just ate his brains.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Kong, sure.
Calm down. I will say the effects on... I much prefer the effects on Kong than I did on Godzilla and the rest of the creatures.
He's got a little beard. And...
Very believable. Reminded me of Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, a little bit,
but, Like, even just like when he gets up, when they have got there, and he stands up and it's like the snow on the different parts of his hair and stuff, and he gives it a shake off and stuff. Very, very good effects. A lot of the time he didn't leave footprints though.
I didn't notice that.
I looked out for it.
I wasn't looking, I'll be honest, but I didn't notice that.
Mostly from... I've been watching a lot of Corridor Crew stuff. And
so it's like those little tiny details in the corners.
Yeah, it's just stuff that I've been looking at, and like in a lot of the locations he's in, especially in the temple thing when he's walking, there should be dust coming off, and there isn't.
I suppose. Right, okay.
It doesn't ruin the film anyway whatsoever. It was just like...
It's just little details.
Yeah. I'd much rather they put more effort into his face and body and his movements and stuff than, a footprint. But he's just got a flat face.
Yeah, polygon face. Yeah. But the dust, oh my god.
That's fantastic. But obviously, spoiler, Godzilla wins the fight.
Well, because he wins the first one. So when he's on the boat.
Round one on the boat, but a massive advantage.
That was underwater. Yeah, and that's his deal.
Yeah.
So there was no way he could have been beaten.
No.
It was just never going to work.
Round two goes to Kong.
Yeah, but that's when he gets his axe, though. Yeah. But round three, he slightly stops his heart almost. Like, he stomps on his chest and like
crushes on him. He's fucking scratching his chest up and stuff. They have a shouting match for a little bit, and then Kong passes out. But
then that means though that because Mechagodzilla clearly did a fucking rinse job on normal Godzilla, like it was only because Kong got involved.
I would say because obviously Kong batters Mechagodzilla for a good portion of it, and then he gets the help from Godzilla when he shoots the atomic breath at the axe and powers it up, and then he just chops him up. But it seems like Mechagodzilla is designed to fight Godzilla, and like in a Taskmaster way, he knows all of his moves and this and the other. Kong is an adaptable fighter, so he'll use the environment and he'll use bits and bobs.
I did like this. There's like a few things where Kong and Godzilla are fighting, and he leaps off some buildings and pushes himself through and kicks him. Like it felt like there was a lot of impact. Those swings were just like, because like Pacific Rim, which is kind of the closest thing we've got for sort of like, kind of like one-on-one fighting, really.
Batman v Superman.
Kinda. But the swings were just like huge, and it just it took so much effort to make them connect. But it hit. And it was like, poof.
That's the one thing I like from Pacific Rim is the viewing angles and stuff make you realise that these are giant robots, and it's not like Transformers where it's all fast and fluid and stuff. It's you're either looking at it from the robot's point of view, or you're looking at it from a pedestrian's point of view, I suppose, from the ground up. But it's not fast; it is fucking slow fighting.
Yeah,
and it works. I think it's very good.
Yeah, but this seems like the hits are still they're very impactful. Yeah. But Kong is definitely far more maneuverable. But he's still able to sort of swing him up and tie him up and stuff. But when Godzilla hits him with his tail and stuff, it'll put him through buildings and things. Yeah.
They fucking ruined Hong Kong.
Why Hong Kong? What did Hong Kong ever do?
I imagine it's.
It looks incredible, but
I think it's
just fighting in a big Neo.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Neo City.
They had a lot of really cool synth music as well, which fit really well in it. But I imagine
it felt like. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say I think it's Hong Kong mostly for heralding back to the originals. Obviously,
which is fine.
Japan and stuff. I think that was a big.
But do it in Japan then.
Yeah. I don't think Japan.
Why not do it in Japan?
I think it's more the spectacle of say the neons and everything else. Because it looked like aesthetically, it looked fucking bonkers.
It did, but this is it. Like this, it doesn't seem to be. It seemed like it was going more back to the sort of like the weird Godzilla universe roots of just being sort of like, let's give him like crazy spaceships with like laser beams that fly out of them and stuff like that, and let's make a giant robot Godzilla. And like it seemed like it was starting to tip from the serious point of, you know, you know, these things have been around, like trying to ground it, and they seem that they've gone more in the sort of silly side.
Yeah,
which they so should have done that from the outset, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like I love the look of Mechagodzilla. He looks so stupid and like clunky and awful, and like of course it's controlled telepathically by Ghidorah. Like it's all of that stuff is just, it's so good because it's proper silly monsters. Let's just, how do we tack these things together and just go, oh, psychic powers from one of the other dragon heads. That works in the world that they've set up already.
Believable.
They got 3 heads. They're all talking telepathically. We just piggybacked off the telepathy to power big old robot Godzilla.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff is brilliant. What I don't need to see is a conspiracy theorist pissing about in a fucking Scooby-Doo style adventure, and then what's her face calling her dad every now and then, he's just like, where are you? Scene ends.
Yeah.
He brought nothing to the table in that. Why was he in there?
None of them did.
The only reason that he was in there was because she was.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't like any of the... Also, you know, I can't remember his name, but the bad guy, his daughter, who goes along on the mission.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
so...
Yep.
When Godzilla attacks the boat...
Sorry, I just remembered, like, because I was just like, oh, what happened to her? And I just remembered just Kong just squishing her like it was nothing, gone.
But she went from, my dad sent me here, I got to make sure everything goes right. You're all idiots. And then it turned out she's actually all right, kind of thing. And then Godzilla attacks, and they're trapped in the room, and the water's coming up, and Kong turns the boat back around, and the woman and from thingy, the girl anyway, and she comes out and she's like, oh, and helping her up and everything else, and get her safety stuff. Then they get the stuff and she's like, fuck you all. I'm out of here. It's like, well, why?
Well, it's like that was the, like, you just had to email a energy signature back to the world. I don't quite understand how all that works.
You've got to just spend a little bit where you go, psychic powers from a skull, from a head that's been severed, from a monster. Yep, that's fine. Emailing some energy. Nope.
Well, they weren't emailing energy. It was just like, oh, this is just a signal to use for it to...
So
I just don't get the weird pseudoscience that was sort of behind that.
I can roll with it. That's fine. I don't mind
it.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, there's madder things going on in it.
Even though I knew he was going to lose, I wanted Kong to win, because Kong's my
Well, I tell you what, I've got a question for you, because as soon as like Godzilla assaulted that facility right at the start, man, he fucked some shit up. When he was just like, you guys are building another Titan.
Yeah.
Not on my watch. And he's just blasting everything. Like, nothing is touching him.
They should have got that girl to teach him sign language. So he could have just gone, building, robot. that would have saved a lot of problems.
It probably would have done, yeah. But like as soon as like he smashed that thing and just luckily took out those 2 security guards that were gonna, attack the conspiracy guy.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that giant pulsing like orb. And I was just like, that is like a power core, or that is like some secret thing. And then it was like, as it was sort of like spinning, I was just like, or it's an eye?
I thought it was an eye,
like,
yeah.
I was like, are they doing... it is an eye, but I was just sort of like, these were things that were just sort of going through my head. And I was like, are they teasing Mechagodzilla in this film? Like, they're going straight into like, oh, by the way, this is just like, he's assaulting facilities where they're building different parts of the Mechagodzilla. Did you expect... Firstly, Mechagodzilla to show up in this film, and secondly, to be such a big part of it.
If you go back and listen to when we first looked at the trailer, we talked about it on a podcast, and I said Godzilla and Kong will fight each other. then it'll be Mecha Godzilla, and they'll team up to take it out.
I don't remember saying. I don't remember you saying that. So I'm going to trust that you did.
And one of the main reasons was there's a scene in the, and I didn't notice it immediately. It wasn't me that noticed it. I saw it on a thing, and I went, "Oh, that kind of makes sense." But in the trailer, there's a screen, and it's got Mecha Godzilla on it.
See, but that's the thing. Like that, even that can just be a nod. It can be a hint.
No, it could be. It was a like.
Because I thought
chance that it wasn't going to be, but like I'm not even joking, and I will find it, and I probably won't put it in this podcast, but just to prove to you,
I'm not doubting. I'm just saying I don't remember.
That's genuinely what I said, because I said it's what I didn't want to happen. I don't want it to be a Batman v Superman where the enemies, now there's a bigger villain, and now we need to work together. Like for all I know, when they were shouting at each other, when he pinned him down, he was just going, Martha! And I can't say that that's not what happened.
Well, what I thought they were going to do is they were going to, like, they'd have a couple of scraps through the film, and, Godzilla would win one and Kong would win one. But ultimately, Kong would get his axe.
Yeah.
And that's what would do Godzilla in, because he's got this, like, monkey lightsaber sort of thing. He can just cut through anything. Yeah, it's exactly that, yeah. And then when he'd beaten Godzilla, because he'd gone rogue or whatever, so he wasn't just a good guy anymore. Good guy in the sense of he happens to just be fighting the things that happen to be causing more damage than he is. But when he finally takes him down, like Charles Dance's character from King of the Monsters, he will get, like, because he got Ghidorah's head at the end of King of the Monsters, he would then bring Godzilla back as Mecha Godzilla. So, like, make him like a cyber Godzilla. So I thought, like, that orb thing, I was like, oh, is that like a superpower core for like a giant robot? It's like, oh, what if they're doing what if they're building like a Jet Jaguar and they're going to have like a Megazord that can like batter them or whatever? I did not expect them to go, oh yeah, not only there is a Mecha Godzilla, but here he is, and you're going to be battling him in the last act of the film. I loved it because I was just like, you've embraced the sort of the bonkers nature of things. Not fully, because they're still putting in these pathetic human story elements that I just don't care about.
Funny, it's the problem with a lot of monster films is you don't want to see the human characters. You want to see the monsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that should be anybody watching, not just this film, any film of its nature. If you don't want to see the monsters, you're watching the wrong films. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the same vein as Godzilla, where you don't see him till towards the back end of the movie.
For like 7 minutes or something like that. Yeah, like 8. Yeah. It's like 7 or 8 minutes of like total screen time. Criminal.
Yeah.
Criminal.
Don't call it that film. Just call it Bryan Cranston, the movie.
Dawn of the Titans or something.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh my God, there's Godzilla.
The Titans are these Titans.
I tell you what though, like with the whole, I didn't even think of it until they sort of showed it in like the intro basically, but it's just like here's all the monsters that they fought so far, and it's like a tournament fighter, and it's just like crossing them off until you finally get to these two. I was like, oh yeah, okay. But
sense.
Then also, I don't think that the things that Kong has been up against so far, I don't think they really compare to what Godzilla's been fighting off.
Oh, really?
Like if Godzilla went to Skull Island and he got those skull crawlers and they were like just trying to get him or whatever, he'd just be like,
he just spits on him.
What was that? Well, it's like a bloody flea on him.
I'm not sure, because if Kong won, right, that would have like unraveled everything Godzilla did in the previous King of the Monsters movie. Obviously,
when he beat all of them pretty much. Yeah,
like they all overpower Kong to quite a high margin because he is effectively a huge gorilla, exceptionally strong. I imagine he's got very good pain tolerance and whatnot, but effectively he's nothing. He's not like Godzilla is, and Godzilla's got a big advantage. He's got his scales are basically armor, atomic breath, very strong, fucking huge, blah blah blah. Take a lot of that out, and Kong he comes close to winning on, with the exception of the first battle on the boat, which again is underwater for the most part. But for the two, he holds his own very, very much.
Well, he's got intelligence, so
That's what I mean. So he's not only
tools,
strong,
he can outthink the problem.
yeah, and I think that's what makes him more dangerous as a foe to somebody like Godzilla.
But then that's why. But Godzilla seems to be like he's the tank.
Yeah,
like he could just roll into an area and he will just like it would be very, very difficult to take him down, whereas Kong would be much easier.
Yeah,
like because clearly we've seen that like. Maybe not so much in this one because like he was much, much smaller in like Skull Island, but like, you know, he could beat her. You know, he was getting torn up by like helicopter blades and machine guns and stuff like that. Yeah. So obviously like the older he's gotten, the more tough his skin's got, I guess. But I think it would be there'd be a lot more weaker points on him. Like, you know, put one into his eye, into his mouth, into sort of the fleshy bits. Like you say, he's not armored. But trying to get him would be real difficult. Yeah. Because like he'd just be like around buildings and, you know, he'd pick up a train and smack you with it or something.
I mean, he took
because clearly he wasn't like, oh, like I need to save all the humans or whatever. Like he just like picks up those like fighter jets and starts throwing them like ninja stars. Yeah. Luckily, the guy managed to eject, but he didn't give a shit about it.
He didn't know he was going to do that.
No, of course he didn't. He was just like fucking throw things at Godzilla and see if that'll stop him.
He also took an atomic breath blast to his back.
Oh, that was so. I was like, oh, but, like when he just grazed him,
and that was
enough.
Yeah, that should have put him out. Just that on its own, really.
No. But I disagree. I think if he'd have took that in the chest, like I think that would have been it. Like it would have just blown a hole through him.
It's not far off, is it? Because it goes like and works its way up like his shoulder.
Well, it's like a graze. It's like that episode of Rick and Morty, like where the Pickle Rick episode, like where he's like trying to chase down Danny Trejo with a laser thing, and he just clips him. Like it's enough to like, oh fucking hell!
I suppose, but it's not like
it's
probably very hot,
below half of a chunk.
Probably like a burn more than anything else, wasn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas like Mechagodzilla, like full on nailed Godzilla with his laser breath, and that didn't like blow a hole in him. It scarred him up somewhat rotten. But I reckon if that laser thing had shot Kong, he would have just gone straight through him.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's. I don't think he's got the defense there. Like I think it would have just
flash,
gone.
Isn't he?
Yeah, it would have just gone flying through him.
I did like when he gets Godzilla's mouth. He's trying to open it up, and it's just like he's like, fuck.
Yeah,
that is so fucking good.
He's done that with the fucking skull crawlers because it's like that's an easy way of killing them. And he's just like, no.
There was a lot of very good moments. Been
great if it just took all his fingers off. He was just like, oh, well,
what?
Fuck.
Maybe if that was the twist, he beat Kong, and we had Mecha Kong, but it was like
imagine that
cybernetics and stuff. I don't
like
know.
If that's how cybernetics work. Yeah, wobbly
clearly.
Arms. Like as soon as they hacked up Mechagodzilla, a Mecha Kong came flying out of that mountain behind him, and just started. Then I'd just been like, oh, what?
No, because you know what? It'd just be Optimus Prime from Beast Wars.
Well, maybe that's what they do, though. Maybe this Apex, whoever the fuck they are, that just sort of come out of nowhere.
I suppose it's purely for the name of Apex Predators, I'm guessing.
Yeah, which, fine, makes sense. But to be fair, that again, that's an enormous clue. When it's like Apex Cybernetics, I was like, Cybernetics, eh? Well, I bet they ain't building, like, prosthetic arms and legs and shit. They're building a big robot something or other. I can't imagine that. Like, where are they getting their funding from to build like a hyper train to Hong Kong and anti-gravity planes or whatever the fuck those things were?
Bitcoin.
Oh, they just did some serious Bitcoin mining back in the day.
They're selling PS5s in 3090s.
Well, maybe they go, well, you know, we figured that Kong was like that Godzilla was the biggest, the baddest, the strongest. That's why we built a mech that was going to be the same as Godzilla, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe we were thinking of this wrong. Maybe we need to build a Kong one. Like, so we've lost the Godzilla cybernetics mech. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe we build a Kong mech, and then like that can be faster and quicker, but we put like Godzilla laser power in it and stuff like that.
I mean,
but that would be good because like I was
they're all dead. But...
True. Yeah, one of them got fried, one of them got squished,
and one got electrocuted.
Yeah, that's what I said.
How did he kill the boss man? I know it's like when the mystery machine guys are backing away from the window. And he's just what? Like, and then does he just grab him?
No, he just like smashes the front of the.
I can't remember how he got rid of him.
Yeah, he's like he's for sure dead.
Yeah,
you ain't getting past that. He were dead for sure, mate.
But that's all I know because like the base is like destroyed. She died in the car thing. He got squashed. He got electrocuted. Yep. So you've only got the lackeys left.
I'm sure there'll be someone who'd be like, "Do we do this again, or like should we build another one?" But what I was hoping for at the end, though, was like some sort of hint as to what the next thing was going to be. Because
we did. The post-credit scene was moved into the movie. I had a look. It was like it came up with the credits, and I was like, I can't be able to sit through all this if there's no scene, so I googled it.
Yeah, I skipped, but there wasn't anything there.
No, there's nothing. So you've got the start of the film and the end of the film credits, and that's it. But the scene that was going to be the post-credit scene is just in the film now.
Which bit?
Which I'm assuming is the end. When they're at the, they're like, he's coming around for his morning walk, and then jumps down. I'm assuming that's what it was.
But that doesn't tell me what's going to happen next, though.
He's got a home.
Which is fine, but that's just a nice ending. Like you could end the whole franchise just on that. Godzilla went back to the water. He's just going to sleep.
Yeah, I think it's
Kong.
From what I read yesterday, it's because there isn't any plans to make any more. So they're not wrapping it up and saying that's it, we're done. It's just Warner Brothers.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they haven't greenlit any. So where this ends is they've moved Kong back into the. What's it called again? Under Hollow Earth.
That's actually probably not a bad idea because then they're like, well, if we stick him back down there, him and Godzilla aren't going to get in each other's faces. Mm-hmm. So Godzilla can have the top with all of us and just crush us as and whenever he feels like it, but Kong can come back down to the Hollow Earth. But then this is the thing though, because like it's just sort of like, okay, well they're good guys now, or they've got the mutual respect for each other because they managed to take out a big robot together. What next? Like because he
bows down to him, doesn't he? Because he's got the axe and that, and then Godzilla's just like, rah, and then Kong just throws the axe down, as if to say like, got no.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Off.
But then, but if that means that if there's another Titan that comes in, well, if one of them can't sort him out, both of them can.
Yeah.
Like, because Kong will do whatever the girl tells him to, and Godzilla will just, anyone who even comes close to stepping on his turf, he'll just come up and wreck.
What if we have Mecha Matthew Broderick?
Yeah, I think that'll get dealt with very quickly. It'll just...
I don't know.
It'll just be Inspector Gadget then.
Do you think they'll do like an Avengers thing, where we have Kong and Godzilla and a couple of others teaming up?
Well, Mothra would make sense because like Mothra's usually a good guy as well. So if like Godzilla was taken out or Kong was taken out, then Mothra would maybe be able to bring them back, like super heal them. And also, you know that if Kong's getting that Godzilla's getting too overwhelmed, you just blow up a nuke in his face, and that'll make him super powerful for like 10 minutes or whatever, and he can just destroy whatever.
Yeah.
But the actual Japanese like lore, like I was talking to my friend before I actually watched it the other day, and he was telling me like he just knows so much about this. But like he was saying like one of the final wars, it was like the Russians, and they had like flying submarines with big drills on them. Like all of the stupid stuff that they come up with, that just the wacky bonkers shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this is the closest in these series of films so far that's gotten to a bit sort of like, huh, that's a bit mad.
But that's
rather
what
than
it
just
needs
like,
to
oh my
be.
God, this is terrifying. Absolutely. Like that is the key thing that keeps it going. Like, yeah, it doesn't need to be the most serious, oh my God, the most real action thing you've ever seen.
No.
Like there's an element of silliness to it.
You can keep it grounded without making it bland. And like, for all intents and purposes, Godzilla, Bryan Cranston Godzilla, it's not a Godzilla film. It's just a monster film-ish. And it
could have been Cloverfield.
Yeah. But that's its biggest mistake that it makes. Skull Island leans a little bit more into the more fantastical nature of there's a big giant gorilla. And obviously King of the Monsters takes that a step further. And then this one takes it way over the edge. And for the most part, like, I'm not a massive Godzilla King Kong fan. I like all these new ones, but prior wasn't a massive fan. And take out the bits that we've already said we don't like the Millie Bobby Brown stuff with the stupid podcast. I mean, brilliant podcasts. Subscribe on iTunes and Spotify.
We will not be going on any secret missions to Hong Kong, then.
No, but like, take all the stuff out that... I know you can say that for any film, but take all the stuff out that you don't like, and this just remains a real fun, good action monster movie. And keeping those bits in, it does ruin it. It dilutes it a little bit more.
It does, because there's like 3 separate things that are going on outside of the main Godzilla and Kong,
and none of them are as interesting as Godzilla and Kong.
No, not a one. Like, even like in Skull Island, though, it kind of it made, like, the human side of things was way more interesting because it made sense for the film that they put together.
Yeah.
Like, it was a military unit that was sent to figure out what the fuck's going on. Like, they're an escort for Monarch.
Yeah.
To find out what's going on this island. Oh my God, there's a big gorilla. And then you've got, like, the military splits into 2 units. They get separated.
Yeah.
You got Sam Jackson, who's just like, that big gorilla, I'm taking him out. Like, he's killed my men. He's blown up my helicopters. We're going to we're going to kill him as soon as we can. And then you've got the Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson side, who find John C. Reilly and, like, the people, and they go, oh, Kong's not actually a bad guy. He's just a protector and whatever. Yeah. And then they kind of clash, but, it's still centered around Kong and his being there and kind of explaining as to what his story is.
But it worked.
Whereas this one, yeah, but it works. And you were interested in, like, oh, maybe all of these people will just get killed off, not by Kong because he's a big monster, but by 50 of the other big monsters
all of
that
the other
live
ones
there.
That are there.
Yeah. So, like, this, like, it was even just sort of like, even if it wasn't following Kong necessarily, if it was just following Tom Hiddleston, say, and just him finding, oh God, there's a giant stick insect. Oh my God, giant spiders. And then Kong would come in and save the day. Yeah. That film would still work. It would be kind of more like the Peter Jackson King Kong, I guess. But there's no, like it should have, in my opinion, it should have purely focused around, like, the little girl and, like, the Monarch doctor. That should have been the only human element, and, like, them trying to keep up with Kong and making sure he doesn't get hurt because they've gotten a bond with him and all that sort of stuff.
You'd still need to have the science guy who goes to the bird from Monarch to say, "Can we borrow Kong to use as a compass thing?" Because you still need that. If Kong stayed where he was, I don't think Godzilla would have come looking for him. If he'd have stayed in.
Well, he was traveling the world, like, picking apart Titan parts. So, like, he knew that they were building a giant robot, and he was trying to stop them from doing that.
Yeah. But obviously, we wouldn't have it just be Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla for that movie. So, I mean, like, if they hadn't have taken Kong out of the dome thing he was in, Godzilla wouldn't have come and found him.
That's true. Because it looked like they were trying to keep him safe.
Yeah. And I mean,
she's sort of like sealing him in.
She does say that. She's like, the second we take him out of here, Godzilla's going to
come. Godzilla's going to come.
Yeah, which is what happens. So I'm assuming this.
But he wasn't in a dome in the 60s.
He had that big weird storm thing that they had to get through.
Oh my god, you're totally right. So that's just like a blocker thing. It's like a Godzilla shielding. Okay, sure.
Or
that's the lead that you can't see through.
It wasn't big enough. Godzilla's just like, nah, he's only a little monkey.
He's pretty fucking big. Oh, I see. Kong was right. Yeah.
No, don't be like Monarch. It's like, nah.
But they just got no play in this whatsoever.
It's you don't need it. Like, I understand some of the elements. Like I say, to draw him out, this is the story. We've got our villain making the Mecha Godzilla. All that I can tolerate. It's just the other little ins and outs that don't. No. Anyway,
because like if you whipped out the Scooby crew and put in the doctor, like an actual doctor, like a science doctor, and she was tracking Kong and Kong and Godzilla were after each other, and then she found that facility in Hong Kong where the Mecha Godzilla was being built, because like her and the guy that is sent in the ship to the Hollow Earth thing, obviously they've got a prior relationship, so they end up together because she's looking after Kong and he's on that mission. They both end up back in that room with the Mecha Godzilla. Guy gets swished and killed. One of those two people, one's a professor, one's a doctor. They try and hack into the satellite thing to turn it off so that, Mecha Godzilla's not an issue anymore. Yeah. And then go, fuck it, and just pour water down it.
There's a lot of other ways you could go around it without bringing in these...
Why did they need to be there at all? Like, there was such a way of just keeping it a very small group of people.
Yeah.
They were going to be the focus, and everything else is just what are Godzilla and Kong up to. Then, oh my god, new big bad.
Yeah. I'd have been down.
That's so how it should have been.
That would have took it to a... I think it's still like a 7, 8 out of 10 film for the most part.
But mainly for just how much cool, like the cool level that comes with just like these two just absolutely going at it. And like you say, the shit in Hong Kong is just so good.
Yeah.
But I could, what you did with your like Snyder Cut additional cut, where like you took all the slow-mo out or whatever?
Yeah.
I reckon you could do half that shit again and just only have the Scooby crew in when they go, oh, the password. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if they'd have gone, oh, I'll hack the password and then did it, I'd have been like, no, I'm done. Because this guy was just like, oh, it's a HTML cam.
Oh, it was Apex.
And that was it. Yeah, then just out-hacked it and turned it off. I'd have been like, fuck off. Like, this isn't the 80s where like some kid can just come in from hacker camp.
He's got his power glove on, his Nintendo power glove. He's like, hack him out.
Like they've just built a massive robot Godzilla. Like their password is not going to be like password 1.
What's the word? I fail to believe that a company like Apex, who have built this thing based on psychic energy and all the other bits and bobs and stuff and everything else they've done, that it's not biometrics and retinal scans. Like
the only person that could turn off their giant robot is just someone who types a password in.
Yeah,
like it's got to be. No, you've got to be like the CEO to like stop this shit from happening or whatever.
Or like at least
makes sense, right?
Like what's it one where you've got like the two keys at other ends of the room and you got to turn them at the same time.
Yeah, like a nuclear launch.
Not like he's rooting around. He's just like, oh, a post-it note, and it's just like, what's his daughter's name? I don't know. We'll say it's Danielle though. The guy, like the boss,
CEO guy.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
We'll say it's like Danielle, but instead of L's, it's ones, and that was the password all along. But it's stupid. Anyway, we've rambled on enough, mate. It's been like 2 hours. I enjoyed it though. I did very much enjoy Godzilla, and I'm glad that you made me watch it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to another one. Hopefully, because they seem to be, every one that they're doing, they seem to be going in a step that I think makes way more sense. So instead of it just being like a little bit of Godzilla and then it's just all these human characters, then they went, oh, okay, well, we won't do that again. Then they got Kong, and it was Kong right at the start, and oh my god, fighting Kong.
Yeah.
And then they went to King of the Monsters, and it's just like, oh, there's like 50 monsters, and they're all just fighting each other. And now they're getting to like giant robots and silliness. Like the next one to me would be like there's aliens, or they go back in time and fight the entirety of Godzilla's family back in the past, and they have to make a Mecha Ghidorah to do it. Like, that's the sort of way it should be going. Where the next film is just like, how could you possibly top this mental of like this just tower of silliness that you built? How are you going to
find out before long? Like, I think it'll be at least a couple of years until we even get a
I hope so, because I've spoken with a couple of people about it, and they seem to have pretty much the same opinion. But like a lot, again, the human stories, like either they're just sort of like pseudoscience, where it's just like, oh yeah, we just put on a psionic helmet and you can control, and you go, sure, okay,
why not?
But that's at least it's you can forgive that because it goes straight back into monsters.
Yeah.
But when it's just like, I need to meet with this conspiracy podcast guy that I don't know, like all of that, it's just no one liked that.
No.
And honestly, if you enjoyed every element of this, including them being in it, I'd be quite interested to. Like, there might be an element that I've missed or not taken into account, maybe. So
I shouldn't think so. We're movie buffs. We know everything there is about movies.
Yeah, just knowing something about something doesn't mean that
We don't.
I watch a lot of films, mate.
But you don't remember half of them.
No, that's very true. But, you know, if someone's got a totally different take on it and they go, actually, I think the combat was shit, and, you know, watching Millie Bobby Brown knocking around in Hong Kong on a weird cargo lift, that was the best part of the film, make your case, because there might be an element I'm completely overlooking here. So let us know. pvp.com/the wall.
Bang it on there. We're going to wrap it up there, though. As Dan just mentioned, if you want to go to podcastversusplayer.com, we've got a bunch of other stuff, including more podcasts, more Let's Plays, game shows, animations, reviews, the whole lot. If there's anything in particular you liked or you disagreed with, as Dan's just mentioned, jump over onto the wall and drop us a message. We would like to hear from you, because you've all gone a bit quiet, and quite frankly...
Did you check today? I'll have a look.
I mean, I'm saying all this and I haven't actually checked, but...
Don't worry, I will have a look.
I did check yesterday.
Nope.
Fucking shocker.
I'm fairly sure that it's not working properly, because there's just no way that we're getting extra traffic coming in, and no one's talking to us anymore.
We've had extra comments on YouTube.
That's true. But I think you've already answered those anyway, haven't you? So
yeah, it was mostly questions on review stuff. But regardless, thank you for commenting on them and stuff. And if you got any other questions regarding any review items, let us know, either on the wall or on YouTube itself. But Dan, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to take our clothes off, and we're going to have our own Kong versus Godzilla fight.
Who are you going to be then? I think you're a bit hairier than me, so I'd say you'd be.
I'll go Kong.
You'd be Kong.
I'm happy.
I've got the height adventure.
Adventure.
My height is an adventure.
Kong and Godzilla's
I've got the height advantage. Plus, I could use my massive penis as a giant tail to just belt you with.
This is true. This is very true.
I've done it before.
And it shoots atomic breath as well.
It's more like an atomic wash. Like a sea foam wash.
Bye.
Fucking drugs, piss off, you motherfucker.
Get the poo demons.
Oh, God. It's in flower. Fucking Christ.
Why did it have to do that?
Why is there not, like, dudes everywhere?
There will be.
You know me, I like dudes everywhere.
Yes.
I'm the biggest Doom fan.
Doom will. The first time I ever played Doom was at my English teacher's house. Dan,
See, right.
listen
I'm
to
so
me,
sorry.
Dan.
Oh, I died, Callum.